Okay, this is dream interpretation. I received a message from someone who said he had this dream about 3 weeks ago, and this is what he wrote. Okay, first I was in a city with two buddies of mine, and we got in a car. I was in the back seat. We drove for a long time, and then there was his house. Across the street from the house was the ocean. Out of that house's chimney, smoke was coming out. I think it was smoke from a bomb, And when we drove through it, the clock on the dashboard switched instantly, from 8:45 to 10-something. That happens a number of times. The car is a 2002 Honda Civic, if it matters. Then I'm watching TV, with my face right in the screen. On screen, I see a man and a woman from the 50s, 60s dancing. And in the corner and background of the TV, there are zombies, just swinging their arms and dancing. Then it switches. If you've ever seen Scarface, remember that house that Tony went to when they killed his boss's partner, who was actually a snitch? Well, the house looked like that, a type of an Italian mansion where there's a man, and I'm talking to him. I remember what we were talking about, but from the conversation, I can tell he was a former enemy, who is now on my side. He disappears, and I'm in the courtyard of that same house, and in the balconies, there are shadowed figures who look like they may be trying to harm me. And then I wake up. They wrote later on, in a lot of my dreams in which I feel afraid, there's always a road. It's empty, like a ghost town type of thing, and it has no cement, it's just dirt, with dead and burned trees all around. In one dream, I remember, I was driving to my girl's house, and this road divided us, and I remember saying, man, I don't want to end up on that road. In one of my dreams, I was on the road, and I remember going through it for a long time. There were train tracks on one side, and when you went long enough, there was a camp. Alright, so let's start with the first dream. Now, you get into the car, the Honda Civic. Who in your life owns a Honda Civic? Who has driven a Honda Civic? When you see a Honda Civic, what do you think of? What does it remind you of? Is there a special memory in a Honda Civic? Is there any kind of memory that comes to mind about a Honda Civic or about this particular Honda Civic? Was this Honda Civic familiar to you? And then you say two friends of yours. Who are these friends? Who are these friends in relation to you? What, are these special friends? Are these good friends? Are these trustworthy friends? Are these friends who get you into trouble? When you get together with these guys, does shenanigans ensue? Do people warn you about these friends? Do people approve of these friends? Do your parents approve of these friends? You're in the back seat, which means you are not in control. You are a passenger going along with these two people. They are driving. They are taking you either where you want to go, but more than likely they're taking you where you have no control in going. Driver and passenger, or driver and passenger. Drivers, taking you somewhere. The passenger seat, navigator seat. Usually the person directing the person driving where to go. But I think what this indicates in your dream is that you have no control. That there's two people or there's two forces, in control of your life or leading you in some way. Now you go to a house across the street is from the ocean. Well, where's the house? Is it a residential area? Is it heavily populated? Is it just a single story, 2-story, whatever kind of house? Is there a big yard in front of it, or the yard is there grass and lawn separating it? Is it fenced off? Does the house look familiar? What kind of neighborhood does it feel like? Does it feel like a place you grew up in? Does it feel like a place you would visit? Does it feel like a place you would want to grow up in? Is it a place that you kind of recognize from television? When you saw this neighborhood, what did it make you think of? What was important? What stood out in this neighborhood? Why was there the ocean? What does the ocean signify to you? Why would this house be looking out on the ocean? Why? What is special about the ocean? That it would need to be in your dream. Out of the house chimney, smoke was coming out. So, 1 or 2-story house. How big is the smoke? Why do you know it's bomb smoke? Why do you know it's smoke coming from a bomb? Why is it why is this house generating that smoke? Is it a good house? Is it a bad house? Is it a friendly house? Is it a house that represents something? Is it a house that, could the house be college, in some way? And you say the smoke comes out and you drive through the smoke. So, did the car stop? Did the car purposely drive to this place to look at this house? Was the car purposely going there to drive through the smoke? Was there, were you purposely trying to go through the smoke and basically participate in smoking marijuana? And like, how was the smoke acting? Was the smoke acting a certain way? Was it behaving strangely? Was it purposely blocking your path, or was it coming for you? Did you feel afraid when it came for you? Did you feel afraid when you saw it coming out? Were you worried when you saw it? Did you know what that's? You knew what the smoke means, but how did you feel when you knew? Like, when you recognized and realized what it was, did it make you panic? Did it make you afraid, or did you want to do something? What was your initial reaction when you saw that? Clock on the dashboard changed, so that's time flying. That's because you're sitting in the back. That's part of how you had no control. You are sitting in the back. You're a passenger being driven. You're cargo in a way that some forces are leading you. They're controlling you. So time is passing. You have no control over it. When you notice that, did you panic? Were you afraid? Were you like, okay, it's time to move on? Or, but more than likely, it's a fear that's attached to it. That time has passed. I wasn't in control. I didn't want the time to pass. Stuff has happened that I didn't want to have happen. It happens a number of times. So time is, escaping you if it keeps happening. Then you're watching TV, your face is right into the TV screen, and man and woman from like the 50s or 60s are dancing. That is potentially your parents. And you're watching your parents dancing. And there's zombies in the background, they're just kind of swinging their arms. You don't think your parents are... You think of your parents as zombies. You think of your parents as brainless. That they don't understand, that they don't know, that they kind of act, and they don't know why they're acting or how they're acting, because there's zombies with them. The zombies aren't attacking them. The zombies are behaving with them. So the zombies are dancing with them, or dancing along with them. And the zombies can represent other people you know. But by association, your parents are zombies in a way. Let's see. Then you kind of confuse me here, but you go to this Italian mansion, and are you going to kill somebody, or do you meet a guy? Do you kill somebody, then you meet a guy there? That's what I'm curious about. But as I understood that this guy's a former enemy who's now an ally, he disappears, and I'm assuming he disappears, but it's kind of like a setup. He knows you're there to kill him, or he wants to eliminate you. When this guy who you know as an enemy, why is this guy an enemy? How do you know this guy? What about his body? What about his appearance did you recognize? What about his appearance stood out? What was not visible but you knew about this guy? Why did you know this guy was an enemy? What was this guy capable of doing to you? Why would what was your initial reaction to this guy? So shadowy figures in the back of the balconies. And you keep mentioning, and you say that you keep having a lot of roads in your dreams. They're dirt roads, dead and burned trees all around. The road divided you from your girl's house. You don't want to end up on that road. I'm going to go on a limb here and say there's drugs in your life. And in particular, the drugs are a bad thing in your life. You kind of like the drugs, you kind of like what it does to you, but the thing is, it controls things in your life, and either you recognize that or you don't. What's happening is you feel this disconnect with